The first question would be, what does revolution mean to you?
Change.
I dig that.
Change.
I dig that. Now, as an educator and a writer, how have you used your voice to help our community and to spark this change and revolution?
I still think that for writers, the most important thing is being true to yourself. And I think sometimes that gets forgotten, that people want you to speak for them, and that other people want you to do things that you're not going to do. You have to speak for yourself. You have to be true to yourself.
Right.
And a part of that is listening to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I say that to my students all the time. You have to listen to yourself. It's very, very important. Because, if somebody wakes you up in the middle of the night, you want to know that you did or didn't say it.
Right.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Right. Well, our May publication is an attempt to show basically the reflections of the atrocities that have started even pre-slavery to the current unfair treatment of people of color, not only for our basic human rights, but our civil rights. Yeah, I've known that you're known for your political views and your civil rights movements. Why, in your opinion, do you feel we're still fighting for these basic rights and a fair trial and due process?
Well, it's America, so that's going to be that level of problem.
Right.
But the other thing that I, as an old woman, not as a young woman, I you know what I thought because I moved. But as an older woman, I think that we need to look at it from another point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always looked at our situation from the point of view of how white people treat us.
Right.
And I'll talk to you later on. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, someone came in.
No problem.
I think it's time that we looked at it from the point of view that black people, what did we get out of it?
Right.
And we are great people.
Exactly.
We got a song out of it, and that song goes all over Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the sound of planet Earth is the sound of rap.
Right.
No matter where you go.
Right.
And that's the black creation.
Right.
That the Negro spiritual is one way of praising the Lord. And we're better Christians than those Christians that kill us.
Right. Right. I totally agree.
We need to think about ourselves. We need to think about what we have gotten and what we have built.
Right.
And I'm not going to say to quit. I mean, injustice isn't just policemen don't need guns. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to think about what it is that we have become, because we are great people.
I totally agree, and that's one thing that we do advocate is those up and coming artists and painters and poets and hip hop artists and whatnot, to show that no matter what plights the black community is placed in, we're still artistic, we're still activists, and to me, we are the most imitated people. And so if our youth could really see that everything that we do, from our fashion sense to our artistic sense, is always being recreated, then we would recognize we're more so of the majority than the minority. So I totally agree with you on that point.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you feel that we need to do as a community, as a nation, to get our voices heard better?
I think that we are having our voices heard, and I think we have to appreciate it. The situation in Baltimore, people are being upset, but nobody listened when they peacefully protested.
Right.
They protested unpeacefully.
Right.
If you're not going to listen, to Plan A, you're going to get Plan B. That's not hard.
Right. I was actually in a small debate about that last night. I said I was actually watching something that Tupac had filmed a while ago, and he said, if I see that I'm asking you for food, and I see that you have all this food, and you're telling me there's no food. First, I'm going to ask, and then, my ask is going to get a little more of a plea, and then it's going to become into a beg, and then you have the new generation. It's like, we're not asking. Now we feel like we should take it. and I've said these...
Black people don't embarrass me, so I don't have a problem.
At all. And I feel the same way. And as I said, this rioting has become because it's like we've tried to be peaceful. We tried to be peaceful with the civil rights movement. We tried to be peaceful in Ferguson, and still, we were tear gassed and why. So it seems like it keeps repeating itself to kind of keep a conditioning in a sense. With what's going on in places like Baltimore and Ferguson, do you feel that this is sparking the new revolution in a sense?
I don't know if it's all that new. I just think that people are tired. People are tired of being pushed around.
I agree.
And when they stop pushing people around, people will go back to being peaceful. Right. And obviously what we need in Baltimore is to put these policemen on trial. That Mr. Gray had 3 broken places in his spine.
Right.
His neck was broken. They kicked him to death.
Yeah.
And they need to be charged with murder. That's so basic.
So with all of these, I mean, it's so many cases and it's so many things that keep happening. It's kind of showing that this system is not set up for justice, because none of these police officers are being indicted, and when they are, they're still getting pensions and they're still, being paid. Is it time to start policing our own neighborhoods and creating our own protection in a sense?
But we already did police our neighborhood. The neighborhood was doing all right until the police came in and started killing people.
I agree.
And well, it's true. And some people, they're upset that, well, what about the drugs and stuff? But if I lived the life that some of the people lived, I would be on drugs. What kind of sense does it make that you're sleeping on the street, you don't have a job, you don't have a home, and everybody's supposed to, and you're supposed to what? Be happy, for God's sake.
Right.
Get over it. Really, drugs are something that people do. I don't do drugs because I don't like them. Mm-hmm. But I think that people who do, we need to get over that.
Right. And I mean,
drugs are business.
It wasn't drugs weren't necessarily brought in by the black community. And to me, it has been almost like it's always a new form of genocide.
Well, it is.
From, smallpox, malaria, Ebola, HIV/AIDS, it's the crack cocaine, heroin. It's always something, Planned Parenthood, it's always something to try and disenfranchise. And what I love so much about us as a people is that no matter what, we still shine. And no matter what, we'll still be on top. And I appreciate, I watch a lot of your interviews and a lot of your speaking engagements, and you're so uncanny and upfront. And we need more of a youth, coming together and letting them know, just like in Baltimore, where you have gangs that are uniting, and they rather show you the people that are, blowing up the CVS and not the ones that are separating this and saying, no, we have this, police back up. We can handle this.
Oh yeah.
Is there well, I feel that this is going to spark even more of a conversation between our community and the initiative to actually come together even more. And we have created forums. We're starting to notice different things. And there's a great mass awakening, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement. What's your view on that?
Well, I think that the President of the United States, Barack Obama, should have, going back to Trayvon Martin, gone on television and apologized to the community for the death of that child.
Right.
Same way that he went on television and apologized to the families of Weinstein and
Right, right.
You know, he should have stood up there and said how much I deeply regret the loss of this innocent life.
Right.
Because the black men that have been shot in the back and kicked to death were innocent also. So why don't we get an apology on that?
Right. And that leads me to
the president needs to grow up.
Right, right. And for them to have sent in, to me, the National Guard and you know, making it bigger than what it really is. And most of these people are protesting positively, and they're not showing that when they got downtown. You know, they were being called out of their name and beer being thrown at them. So it's to me, it goes back to me when Gil Scott-Heron wrote the real revolution will not be televised. You know, you'll see what media wants to show you, and it's the strongest tool of propaganda. It truly is, because when you had the boys in Kentucky, you know, turning over cars and rioting, they're you know, it's just rivalry. But if Black Americans do it, they're animals. Why do you feel that this is constantly being pushed upon us that we're degenerate?
I think that's just your basic, you know, American racism. But I think it's our job to point out that we're not.
Right.
We are great people. I think that somebody needs to say that. We are a great people.
Right.
And I think that it doesn't hurt. People get embarrassed to say things like that, but we are.
Yeah.
We've done our job, so somebody else has to do their job.
Right, right. Have you been able to are you familiar with David Banner?
No.
Okay. He was actually a hip hop artist, and you can tell he's coming into his spirituality or into himself. He recently created a kind of like a comic book type movie, and it's called Walking with the Gods. And he's basically showing the power that we as Black people have, and awakening back to that power.
Good.
And it's a lot of hip hop artists that are starting to try and pull the youth, because that's who our youth look to. You know, they do look to the hip hop artists. They do look to them. So then when you have people like, you know, David Banner and Professor Griff that are pushing intelligence, are pushing a sense of awakening, it's almost like it's an emergence. You know, I'm tired of being picked on, I'm tired of being abused, I'm tired of being X, Y, and Z. And we're really starting to get more shown. You know, you have so much at the tips of your fingers to find out who you are and where you came from. And I feel in order to beat this system of racism, we do need to acknowledge who we are and constantly present that. With the shift from hip hop to rap, do you really think that all rap music is positive for our community?
I think most of it is. People used to talk about the blues.
Yeah.
They used to complain about the blues, and now the blues is classic.
Right. Right.
You know, sure. You can't be afraid of the people speaking up. And the people speak up through the arts. Right. So, you know, yeah, it works for me.
I hear you. Now, I know you have a Thug Life tattoo. What brought that about? I think that's awesome, by the way. What made you go and get that?
I had to do something to show that we care about Tupac, and I didn't know Tupac, and I don't know his mother, but I did think that it would be important to, you know, just to fly the flag, to let people know we care. Right.
What are some of the main things that you do try and get across to your students?
I try to get across to them that they have to trust themselves. I'll say it again. I'm sorry to repeat myself.
No problem.
You have to trust yourself, and you have to recognize that you're writing for yourself. You're not a politician. Right. You're not running for office. You know, you're just trying to explain the world as you see the world. Right. Some people will see it, some people won't. That'd be up to you. But the main thing is that you know that you're being honest. Right. That's all you can do is be honest.
Right. Well, I totally agree with that. I'm trying to scroll down to get all my questions together. Excuse me. And say I rewrote them, then erased them, then wrote them again. With
I think it's important to read too.
Definitely.
It's really people. Because everybody now has you read electronically. Your phone is doing everything to you.
It definitely is.
If your phone could find a way to feed you, you wouldn't have to. That phone does everything.
You're right. You wouldn't have to leave.
To read.
Yeah.
No matter what, and even things that you disagree with, it's important to read so that you can begin to form your own opinions and to formulate your own opinions. So the things that you agree with, you have them coming back to you in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you disagree with, you can build your argument against them.
Right.
But reading is really. I saw Walter Mosley, and I know Walter. We're not close, but I know Walter, and he's a friend. I mean, we always enjoy each other's company.
Mm-hmm.
But Walter was giving an interview. It was in the paper Sunday,
mm-hmm.
and he was saying, you have to write every day. And I couldn't agree less. I mean, you don't write every day because you don't have anything to say every day.
Right.
But you do have to read every day.
Right.
Reading is like breakfast. You just have to do it, whether you feel like it or not. You just have to do it.
What are some of the things on your reading list that you would recommend for some people to read?
Oh, any history that you can get your hands on at all. I just, of course, finished reading Toni Morrison's new book, God Help the Child, which is really, I think, just a terrific book. But Toni's such a brilliant writer.
Yes.
And previous to that, I read The March on Washington,
mm-hmm.
which was really and I've read, a lot of books on the March on Washington, so you don't get too many books on the March on Washington because it's always somebody that has another point of view. I like history, so I'm always interested in doing that. And by the way, I'm really hoping that we get, the $20 bill is going to have a woman. You do know
right.
that.
Yes.
And I'm excited. I'm really hoping that it'll be Mrs. Parks. Rosa Parks. It's down to Rosa Parks and Eleanor Roosevelt.
Okay, so and Harriet Tubman is no longer in it.
Mrs. Roosevelt, she's a grand old gal.
Right.
And I'm really, really hoping that it's Mrs. Parks. I would love to see her on the $20 bill.
It would be awesome. I think it would definitely be something record breaking. I wouldn't even want to spend it just because it's.
Well, that's it. I think the Treasury Department would make a fortune because most of us would buy up a bunch of $20 bills, frame them, and give them to people for graduations and for wedding gifts
right.
and for a whole bunch of. They would make a fortune because nobody would spend it. It wouldn't circulate.
Right. Right. Do you feel that our president is really taking an initiative to try and help the black community as a whole, and not just giving apologies, but actually trying to make conditions better?
Well, see, to me, and I'm going to try to say this slow so that you don't misunderstand,
mm-hmm.
the president is the president of the United States.
Right.
And being the president of the United States, every action has to help all of the people
mm-hmm.
of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have any obligation to do anything for the blacks, for the gays, for the immigrants, or anybody else. He has an obligation to help the United States. How do we do that? We do that by going forward. We the people. Isn't that what they said? We the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to reach out to all communities.
Right.
He cannot be afraid when he reaches out to the black community that somebody's going to say, oh, he's just helping blacks. You can't think like that.
Right.
Because what we do for the black community, what we do for the gay community, what we do for poor whites, what we do for rich whites, all of that is for America.
Mm-hmm.
What we do for peace, what we do, to help, it's all for America.
Right.
And that's what I think he's missing.
Right.
I think that he has been afraid of being black.
Mm.
I do.
I you know what, I couldn't agree more, because of not wanting to be labeled or stereotyped of, well, you're doing this just like you said because you're a black man. And to me, you would think, well, it doesn't matter. This is they're a part of the United States. They're citizens of the United States.
And they must be treated as such.
Exactly.
But again, it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. When you apologize for the death of Weinstein and Laporta
mm-hmm.
in Afghanistan, you should also have been apologizing for the death of people in Florida and Missouri
mm-hmm.
and Milwaukee have Milwaukee, Baltimore, New York. Why wouldn't you apologize for all of these deaths?
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Again, this is about America.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order to be a good American, he has to stand up for America. And right now, he hasn't done a good job of that.
Oh, well, I can agree with you there. As far as when we have these videos and this audio that is blatantly showing the police brutality of not only just blacks, but there have been Latinos and there have been some whites that have died to the hands of police brutality. Why is it that, do you feel that they're protecting more so the police rather than the person when it's blatantly obvious?
I can't really answer that. I don't know. If I understood that, I'd be God. I'd be sitting on the throne.
I know that's right. And that's something that I constantly ask and I try to figure out. And to me, and not just to put it on white supremacy groups, but it's just like now it's just behind a badge, and it's excused. And I was actually researching on the unarmed people that have been murdered, and I came across Ayanna Jones, 7-year-old girl, who sleep on the couch. I'm not even certain how you managed to even shoot her, and the guy's story changes from one, he couldn't see, to next, the grandmother hit the gun. And had someone else perjured themselves like that, it would have been a whole different issue. So I really feel that if we come together and make initiatives, as the Black Panther Party did, in creating education centers and creating our own protection and creating systems to help our own, we would be a better community. And we would show that there is no fear in us.
Well, nobody's going to argue with that. But I've enjoyed talking with you, and I look forward to seeing this.
No, most definitely, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us.